Well, I've been told, I've had some feedback that struggling to hear the stadium announcer. I'm struggling to hear when I try and talk over the stadium announcer, so I let her do her piece, and then I'm afraid I'm going to repeat what she just said. Paul Wedge of Great Britain is on the right-hand side of the piece, and he's going up against Robert BLASCHKA of Austria on the left. And this is for gold. It's Raul Nagimov of Russia who is going to take control of the piste refereeing here. And he's supported on the video by South African Andre Kovrinyik. And I'm joined in the commentary box again by Ryland Delap. You're here on duty as a referee yourself. An honour for these guys up there to take on the gold medal match at the World Championships.
Absolutely. This is the gold medal, in fact, not the bronze.
The gold medal. This is the gold medal.
Okay, great.
Yeah, this is Paul Wedge of Great Britain up against, I have to say, the form fencer here today. BLASCHKA has been, he had a little struggle earlier on in his semi-final, but came through it in the end. But I have to say, he is the favourite, BLASCHKA, even though Wedge is the notional #1 seed.
Wedge has been fencing really great today. I was refereeing him earlier, and he has a slow start, to be honest, but he's really good at adjusting throughout the bout, taking it slow at first. But I do notice that consistently throughout today he's been coming from behind. But BLASCHKA did as well in the semifinals.
He did in the semi-finals, but he has been pretty strong throughout the competition.
BLASCHKA certainly has a very big, long attack where he, hides his arm, and manages to finish, and that's really difficult to deal with for a lot of these guys because, it's harder to get away, and you can't find his blade because it's not there until that last moment. It's been really effective today overall.
And it's quite a mirror. In fact, both of them do it. It's quite a mirror of what you see at senior men's foil level, where the arm stays quite back. They tend to find the blade and then bring the arm back out of the way, so it's difficult to find. But and there's a big debate as well between the purists and the modern looking fencers that is it an attack? But it's certainly a convention for referees and the norm for referees that if something is aggressive, it's an attack.
If it can land and it's smooth, there's no stopping, there's no, break between the beginning and the end of the intention to hit, it's an attack, and I think it's, I've actually had that kind of conversation with some of the even older, I would say, as you would say, purists of the sport, and they actually agree with the concept, and they agree with how referees are currently applying preparation. There's the moments where we have right-of-way, and then there's a moment where neither fencer has right-of-way. In that moment, like, on guard-ready fence, neither fencer actually yet has the right-of-way, so the first person to take more risk will be rewarded. But once someone has possession, it's a little bit easier to maintain it as long as they, maintain some kind of pressure against the opponent without stopping or just removing any of the risk whatsoever. And most people agree with that, especially with how we changed the timing. Back in the 2000s, right? We made it a little bit more risky to just run each other down and try to hit. So the game is adjusted, and the refereeing is adjusted because the fencers got to a point where they were trying to completely take advantage of this concept that they could just really slow things down to remove the risk. And referees weren't really calling preparation outside of the box because they didn't used to, because it wasn't an issue. It's just like in saber. The saberists are not afraid to attack, so you're not going to call preparation outside of the box in saber.
Yeah. I hear what you're saying, but and the timing's the thing that we talked about, where basically it's the amount of time that the button moved in on the it has to be pressed in on the end of the foil was lengthened to stop so many fencers doing the just hitting all the time with a flick hit.
It was too similar to Saber. They could just run and hit each other. It was, you know, it made the sports almost too similar. And there, you know, the change is made for a nice, fine like, finesse and you know, difference as opposed to the Saber, the agility and the speed. Both are really wonderful to watch, but I think it was a good change to make them a little bit more different, but you know, still fundamentally both are beautiful.
BLASCHKA just being hemmed in a little bit by Paul Wedge there, decides that he just opened up the distance a tiny bit there before launching his attack. But Wedge is keeping in this game, being given a yellow card though as a warning, and now will BLASCHKA get one for turning his back there? I think Nagimov is going to get that.
Rip that out real quick.
Just getting confirmation of the fact that it was for turning. I think he knew he was for turning, and I think that was a
take a break.
Good gulp of air there that he took as he lifted his mask up.
Yep. It's a clever tactic that as a fencer, absolutely, you know, ask cordially to the referee, why did I get that? You know, very beautiful switch to riposte after that.
Yeah, nice cart parry and then just going around the left-hander's arm and underneath. Very delicately done, in fact, by Paul Wedge.
You can't do that old style, just slam that tip in anymore. So that's it's something that it does that looks beautiful, just like the Great Britain line touch by Mepstead recently. In
yes.
That was just, you know, gorgeous. That touch will go down in history. Just watch that over and over again.
Yeah, noted around the world. It was a static start as well, just showing how wonderful that final was, that semi-final was against Son. Men's foil at the World Championships. First riposte is no from Wedge.
Absolutely. I wouldn't video that because he could absolutely accidentally wind up with a red card as well for his arm.
I'll tell you another interesting thing about this one is that Wedge has got John Triano, his teammate, in the box, who's helping him, coaching him, and it was Triano he beat in the semi-finals to get through to this gold medal match.
Yeah. That's these guys have known each other and fenced with each other for years and years, and so the relationships they got, and they want to help each other out. You know, sometimes when you lose a match, you want the person who beat you to be the champion.
Yeah,
right?
so you can say yes if I lost the world champion.
I really got second. You know?
Yeah, Paul Wedge here is doing a cracking job as well against BLASCHKA, but we've seen before that BLASCHKA can come out for the second period, the second 3-minute period, and turn a match around really quickly. And a red card is coming out here.
For both fencers. Perhaps they went too quickly to the to end.
Time hadn't run out.
Yes, so they did that. And we are advised now to ensure that the fencers really stay at least playing a little bit until we hit full zero, and that was with the change for the P cards. And it's an interesting thing.
It's happened to both of them, so
yeah,
it's not as controversial as all that. Did it need to be given? One could argue, but sticking to the rules,
yes.
Nagimov has done his job and said, no, listen, the rules are you have to stay there until the clock says zero.
You tell us not to do it, we won't do it, but that's how we're advised at the moment, and at least it was a fair application.
Yeah, absolutely, both fencers getting it. So net effect is that this match will be over quicker.
Because narrows that field of mistake.
Yeah,
now,
exactly. But it's the same for both fencers. It was a good outing in the end from Wedge. He changed his tactics well, but BLASCHKA has been coming out for the second period, and he's adapted quicker than his opponent. Yeah. His tactical change has been so effective today. How come Wedge can deal with it?
Yeah. Both had some advice from their coaches. Wonder kind of the chess pieces, how they've adjusted on the board. We'll see how that goes.
Wedge going backwards, so he's clearly decided he's going to try and open things up. And the attack goes through first time. Don't be confused by the lights on the bottom of the piece. They seem to be a little bit late, certainly on the left-hand side. Para-riposte fails, and BLASCHKA just falls off the edge of the piece. He'll have to give up a meter of ground here.
It's interesting. It's tough because it's like just a loss of balance as he's falling off. But it's, you know, when do we decide that's jumping off to avoid? Nice remise.
Yeah, I mean, there the para-riposte fails, and Wedge fashioning a, well, what ended up being looking, it was a remise, but looking like a stop put as he runs away. Yeah. Now he's got the attack, and Paul Wedge of Great Britain is 1 point away from becoming the 2019 men's foil category B world champion.
And latch touch is always the hardest.
Stop hit there. Didn't work because the off-target light came up on the attack. BLASCHKA with the right of way.
He's got that reach. You give him that. Even for the vet 60, he can really get in there. I think he actually feels a little rushed to get this point back, which could work against him.
Oh, and it's a counter-attack from Paul Wedge, this time closing the distance. And Paul Wedge from Great Britain is the world's veteran fencing champion of Cat B men's foil in 2019. The
world champion in Limoges.
Certainly should he earned that #1 seed.
Yeah, he certainly did, and gets a big hug from his teammate.